Welcome to The Way Home with Laura Smith, the show that brings you wonderful guests, helpful advice, and uplifting stories. The Way Home. Live inspired. Here's your host, Laura Smith.
Well, it is that time of the year when you start to hear the bells ringing and you're spotting red kettles all over the place. Lots of stores and organizations, and I am personally involved with the Salvation Army in my local town, and so I'll be ringing bells. But we want to hear from someone who really has the entire scope of information regarding not only the bell ringing campaign that the Salvation Army is so well known for, but really about the needs of families this particular holiday season in general. So Commissioner Merle Heatwole is here, and he is, I appreciate you coming on to talk about it. As I said, I'm involved with my local army here, and I just love the Salvation Army. Thank you for all you do.
Well, thank you very much, Laura, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to share with your listeners about how they can get involved with the Salvation Army this Christmas season.
Absolutely. Well, let's just talk about this Christmas season in particular. What are you seeing in terms of the whole United States, really?
Well, we are seeing that increased demand. We've seen an increase of 20 to 25% in the number of people coming to us for assistance. We've seen homelessness go up by 18% this past year. And we know that there are approximately 18 million families who are facing food insecurity. And when you think about that within a Christmas context in particular, it creates situations where families are having to choose between paying for basic necessities and having the opportunity to provide a real Christmas for their children, for their families. And so that's where the Salvation Army steps in to try to bridge that gap, and working with donors and volunteers across the country to be able to provide resources to those families to really make Christmas a special time and to restore hope for them and to give them a little piece of joy.
Absolutely. And how about those red kettles? Okay, for the most part, they're taking in coins and dollar bills. But I know that the Salvation Army has really, sort of come into the modern age with everyone else. You have QR codes and ways to pay by tapping your credit card. There's now many more ways to give than just putting our dollar bills into that red kettle. Tell us a little bit about the different ways of paying.
Well, that's definitely true. And one of the things that we've recognized over the past several years is that we need to give people an opportunity to give in many different ways, that a lot of people are not carrying cash on them on a regular basis. So when they go to that red kettle location, they'll see a QR code that they can scan and be able to use PayPal and Venmo and Google Pay and Apple Pay to make that donation. And if they're not able to get to a specific kettle location, they can go to our website, salvationarmyusa.org, and be able to give a donation there and really make a difference. And one of the things that we would want all of our donors to understand is, whether it's at the Red Kettle or online, that every donation that they make will go to their local community, that it stays within their local community to help their neighbors, their friends within that local community in ways that they need our assistance this Christmas time.
That's perfect. And so 24,000 kettles are across the country, and people ringing the bells. That's a lot of red kettles.
It is a lot of red kettles, 24,000 locations. And between kettles and other volunteer opportunities, we had about 1.5 million individuals that volunteered their time. And if someone specifically wants to get involved in volunteering at a red kettle location, they can go to registertoring.com, and they'll be able to sign up for a couple of hours to go out to one of our locations and to share in that Christmas spirit of giving their time to make a difference in the lives of others. And it's a wonderful opportunity, not just for individuals, but for families to get their children involved and teach them what it means to be generous, to get work groups involved, and helping just opportunities to really build ties and build those opportunities to do something special to make a difference in your local community.
It really does. My partner on the morning show, we We're on radio all week long, and together we're going to be ringing the bells on Tuesday, December 9th outside our local Martin Supermarket on East Jackson Boulevard in Elkhart, Indiana. And we love it. It's from 4 to 6. We love it. So many listeners come out, but then people who don't even know that we're on the radio, they'll stop anyway, just because, you know what, the average American, the average person in this country sees those red kettles. And I think they mostly have the feeling of this is a safe way to give. Nobody's judging how much we give, whether it be a penny or $1 million. They are just happy to see you. And it really is. The Salvation Army has such a wonderful reputation, all of the money going towards needs. And I know that we're serving Thanksgiving meal on Thanksgiving Day here. So a lot of Salvation Armies are doing that too, even though the Red Kettle campaign has begun. There's just so many ways you can continue to give to the Salvation Army. What would you say right now? Does most of the money go towards food? Is it household items? Is it helping them with rent assistance? What are some of the major things that the money will go to this season?
Well, not just through the Christmas season, but throughout the year, that we really try to tailor our programs to meet whatever needs there are within that local community. So that could be rent and utility assistance. That could be providing food for families who need that extra assistance with food. That can be providing shelter for those who don't have a place that they can call their house, their home. It can be in supporting those that are coming through addiction issues and having an opportunity to get back on their feet, and also providing opportunities for young people to be involved in after-school programs and other recreational and character-building opportunities to really help them to grow.
We're so fortunate. We just live in such a beautiful country, but full of people who love to give. And registertoring.com is the easy to go to. It really takes about 5 minutes, and you've signed yourself up to ring bells for 2 hours or even 1 hour somewhere. We love that. And I know that this Christmas, with toys and things for kids and gifts for families are important too. So it's just the perfect time of the year to remember your neighbors. And so we thank you so much for all that you do, Merrill Heatmall. I really, I just know that you guys give on a constant basis all day long, every day of the year. And so thank you for the work that you do at the Salvation Army.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your support. And again, we just encourage your listeners to get involved and give with joy this Christmas season.
You're listening to The Way Home with Laura Smith. Once again, here's Laura.
Well, besides loving almost every kind of animal on the planet, I have to admit I'm basically an old cat lady and have been since I was a baby. I have never not had a cat in my entire life. And it's just something I can't explain it. Maybe I'm a Leo and I love cats, but I just adore having cats in my life. And I have 2 right now that are fat and sassy and a delight. But I know that, I get these posts from our Nextdoor app and on Facebook and everything. And people are looking for their cats that have gotten outside. Some of them have escaped their yards and such. And I know it's a big problem for a lot of people. And we have someone here, the big guns, I would say, when it comes to the ethical treatment of animals. And that would be PETA and Sarah McFarland, the spokesperson for PETA. Thank you for being here today. I love having you guys on the program because it's just always so informative and uplifting, too.
Yes. Hey, Laura, it's so great to be here.
So we're going to talk today about allowing cats to roam and be outside cats. And I have to say, at varying different times of my life, my cats have either been all indoors or half and half. In the case of right now, my cats have a very large fence around the backyard. They cannot get out or over or anything. But I know that you probably have even more information about what's good for cats when it comes to staying inside and being house cats.
Yes, definitely. Well, we're just reminding everybody, of course, that our cats depend on us to keep them safe. And every moment a cat is allowed to roam outside unattended, they face potentially deadly risks. So speeding cars, diseases, parasites, and shockingly, even attacks from cruel people. So letting cats outside unattended, it's almost like playing Russian roulette with their lives. And that's why the safest place for cats is always indoors.
Yes, I get that. And the one thing, though, that is hard, I would say, for a lot of us, even though we love our cats, some cats are just desperate, literally desperate to be outside in the sunshine or go in the backyard. And in the case of mine, they can go in the back and not escape. So that's great. But what do you say to somebody who it does live on a busy street and they have no enclosure for the cats, but these poor animals are just dying to get out, and you feel like you've ruined the quality of their lives to an extent?
Yeah. Well, it's important for us to build fulfilling and enriching environments for them indoors. And a big part of that is making sure that they do have access to a window to look out of. I mean, that's like a movie screen to them. They can look out the window for hours. They love to see what's going on. I've got my three here. They love to sit up in their perch and just watch the outdoors for hours at a time. So that's the most important thing. As long as we're creating fulfilling and enriching environments for them with, toys and climbing structures and scratching posts and everything that they need, they're going to be fine indoors. They're going to be safest in their homes. And if people don't know where to start, you can just go to PETA.org/ or search caring for cats. And we have all the tips you need on how to build an enriching environment for your cats inside.
Yeah, because it's hard to sometimes I see, cats that are in small enclosed places for them to get exercise. I mean, cats need exercise. My one cat is 17 pounds. She's ginormous. And I feel guilty about that because I know that I'm probably overfeeding her. But, how do you get the cats, like if you do live in a place where they are going to be enclosed the whole time, how do they get exercise?
Yeah, well, definitely encouraging them to move and to run when they need to. And you can get we have the cat towers, they can run up and down those, and playing with them, engaging with them, and doing a lot of active play and encouraging them to run. And that's really important. So definitely taking the time to ensure that your cat has what they need as far as physical movement and everything. That's super important. Cats don't need a sprawling mansion, but if you have a smaller space, you definitely can interact with them and get them moving.
Exactly. And then, you see feral cats everywhere, even in kind of developed little cities and towns and places like that. And that's always heartbreaking to me in the winter. I just worry about them so much. What do you do? I mean, I know there are the spay and neuter release type of programs, but when it's freezing cold out, can these cats withstand a cold winter outside?
Definitely not. And I'm glad that you brought up the TNR programs, trap, neuter, release programs, because the thing that we have to remember is whether they're homeless or part of a family, all cats are domesticated. They depend on humans for everything, for their food, their water, their shelter, their veterinary care. And TNR programs, trap, neuter, release, it's really trap, neuter, and re-abandon for these cats, because while we absolutely support spaying and neutering cats, and PETA has always supported mandatory spay and neuter legislation, the thing is when you release these cats, they're just thrown back outdoors to face the same threats that they faced before. And cats who are outside, they suffer from dehydration, starvation, parasites, and upper respiratory infections, all kinds of things. And they don't have access to veterinary care. So these poor cats are just left to fend for themselves and suffer. And usually they die very slow, painful deaths as a result of untreated illnesses. And like you said, wintertime is treacherous for animals outside. And just because they have fur, that doesn't mean they have a coat on. Like if we're cold, they're cold. If we can't stay outside in winter with no coat on, they can't either. So, and something else to remember is that if a cat isn't a victim, they're a predator. On average, cats outdoors will kill 250 birds and other animals every single year. They completely decimate local populations of birds and other wildlife. So that's why PETA does not support TNR programs. It's not the answer for homeless cats.
I see. But can you adopt a feral cat and expect it to acclimate to being indoors then? What is that process like?
Well, the best thing you can do is always adopt from your local shelter. Never buy an animal. Of course, that is what's contributing to the homeless animal crisis. And we have now an estimated 70 to 80 million homeless dogs and cats in the United States alone. So always, always adopt. The best thing you can do is talk to the staff at your local shelter. If there's a cat that you're looking to adopt, get to know their background, be sure that they're up to date on their vaccines, get to know their health background, their behavioral background. Also, if you have animals at home already, don't be afraid to ask questions about how they're going to interact with other animals so just really get to know that animal as much as you can before adopting. And I'm sure professionals at your local shelter will be happy to help with that.
Well, I am very grateful to PETA and all of the awareness that it has driven home to so many millions of people and the work that you do. Do you have anything going on right now more than what you normally do or you'd like to promote coming up as we end the year that you are focusing on besides kitty cats?
Yes, of course. Well, I do. I'm over our faith outreach division. We have a Christian outreach division that helps get people active for animals in their faith communities. And if anyone is interested, you can go to PETA.org/lambs, LAMBS. We have a free creation care toolkit for some great ideas to get your faith community active for animals during the holiday season.
Oh, I love that. So
Yes.
Again, PETA.org, PETA.org/lambs, LAMBS.
Yes, ma'am. LAMBS.
Sarah McFarland, spokesperson for People for the Ethical Treatment of All Types of Animals. Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you. And thank you once again for the beautiful work that you're doing.
Yes, thank you so much, Laura.
You're listening to The Way Home with Laura Smith. Once again, here's Laura.
Well, they say that knowledge is power, especially when it comes to something as important as kidney health. There's an initiative, it's called It Takes Two, and it is highlighting the importance of complete testing for kidney disease. And with me today, I have not one, but two wonderful guests, Dr. Charles Vega. He's a primary care physician and director of UC Irvine's program in medical education for the Latino community, and Thelma, who is a two-time kidney transplant recipient and mother of twin boys. It Takes Two for short. Great to have you both, and I so appreciate you coming on to talk about this. It's important, but I have to admit I know very little about chronic kidney disease, what it is, how you get it, and what to do about it. So, Dr. Vega, I'll start with you. Just if you could just please, for people like me, explain what chronic kidney disease is.
No, thank you very much for this opportunity, and you're certainly not alone when it comes to having a lack of information or even disinformation about chronic kidney disease. So chronic kidney disease refers to the kidney's ability to filter blood when it's diminished over time. Unfortunately, that in turn leads to higher blood pressure and toxic metabolites building up in your system. There's a lot of inflammation that comes with that, and so it can lead to a higher risk over time of dialysis or renal transplant. But I also want to point out it also increases the risk of heart disease. So heart attacks and strokes are more common in folks with CKD. And these are 35 million adults with CKD nationwide. Up to 90% of them don't know they have CKD because it doesn't present with symptoms until its later stages. So we're here to raise awareness to get the kidneys tested proactively before symptoms develop and before complications develop.
Absolutely. So in general, who is really eligible for getting and developing this disease? Is it something you're born with, like a genetic situation, or is it something that's lifestyle contributes to it? Where does it come from, and who gets it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So genetics can play a component. So if you have a family history of kidney disease, particularly for African American, there are genes which promote not just a higher risk of CKD, but more aggressive CKD. So if you have multiple relatives or you have a primary relative, that's your mother, sister, father, brother, with kidney disease, definitely get tested. But most kidney disease, about 2/3 of the United States, comes from two disease states. Type 2 diabetes in general, type 1 and type 2, and hypertension. So if you have one of those disease states, you should be tested at least every year with both a blood test and a urine test. And unfortunately, we're not doing a great job in getting the urine test completed. So really, I'm trying to empower patients to go ask their clinician, hey, I know I've had hypertension for a couple of years. I haven't had a blood test. A urine test. Can I get that blood and urine test together? You need both to really make the diagnosis of CKD.
So sometimes even just the patient themselves has to be proactive in asking for it because it's not ubiquitous. Everybody's not doing it. Not every doctor, not every hospital, not every clinic.
Right, and I think Thelma can talk about this because she's a tremendous advocate for herself and for others. But I always love it when patients come in with questions. So it's absolutely fine. We are all very busy, and so if you bring up that fact that, hey, have you checked my kidneys lately? Go to testyourkidneys.com. Testyourkidneys.com is a really nice website for assessing your own kidney risk, and it gives you a bit of a script that you can use with your clinician to bring up this important subject.
So is that the It Takes Two campaign? Is that what it's about? Or is it about Thelma with her two twin boys?
There's a lot of twos here. So it's an all of the above answer. Thelma?
Yes, it's all of the above answers. And yes, for me, it took nearly like a decade in order for me to find out that I had chronic kidney disease because when I did present to the doctors with swelling and fatigue, it was pushed off to another condition. And then a decade later, I go back just with flu-like symptoms and a simple dipstick test in my urine showed that I had blood and protein, which is not supposed to be there. But once I found out that I had CKD, everything spiraled out of control. I'm now living with chronic kidney disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and unfortunately, we have to realize everything is interconnected, and it all relates to the cardiovascular kidney metabolic conditions, and it's been very overwhelming to manage all of that.
My goodness, and are you able to, and how do you manage all of that? What are some of the various protocols you have to go through on a daily basis to manage that?
Well, what I try to tell people, my life entails I am a primary doctor, not a primary doctor. I am a patient, a mom, a wife, and an advocate. And to manage all of that, I just make sure that every day, like clockwise, I take medication on time. But more importantly, I'm using my voice to advocate. And that's why I'm here today, because this It Takes Two campaign brings us to what we need to know. Knowledge. Knowledge is power, and I need everyone to go to testyourkidneys.com so that you can go to arsenal yourself with the tools to have these conversations with your doctor, because that's what the 2 stands for, a partner in your doctor. The 2 tests, a blood test and a urine test. That urine test alone can show what your kidney status is, but if you are at risk for cardiovascular disease as well. So I just want everybody to empower themselves, become advocates and true stakeholders in your health. Wisdom is that I've been through it, so you don't have to go through it. So knowledge is power. Testyourkidneys.com. If you feel something, say something, talk to your doctor. It's a partnership.
Oh, that's so beautifully said, Thelma. But like, for example, today, as soon as I'm done with this interview, I'm headed for my annual checkup. Would somebody like me who is not experiencing symptoms want to bring it up to my doctor in the event that maybe I should be tested? Or is it really only if you are showing symptoms?
No, please go. That's what we're trying to say. As a patient, we want you to know that you should be tested because kidney disease is often known as a silent killer. Sometimes signs and symptoms don't show up, and if they do, like in my case, it was pushed off to another condition. Nobody even thought about it possibly being something with my kidneys.
So I would say that, we don't screen every adult. There's no guideline saying we should screen every single adult in the United States for chronic kidney disease, but there are so many individuals out there with some of those important risk factors, and or they are experiencing some symptoms, and these are fairly simple tests to do. So go to testyourkidneys.com. You can assess your risk there. I think it's very factual, easy to understand, and will give you the right kind of information before you have that clinic visit. I don't know if you have time today to do it right before you go, Laura, but it's worth a quick look if you can.
Oh, absolutely. Testyourkidneys.com. Couldn't be any easier than that. So I really appreciate this. And it just feels like people like you, Thelma, you now have the strength and the power and the knowledge within yourself. And it's so good to have people be empowered by that, because so often I think we feel like we're at the mercy of just whatever doctor we go to and when we go, and we don't really know the questions to ask. So I totally appreciate this. I have a feeling you're going to maybe even save a lot of lives today. Thank you both for your wonderful contribution to helping the world to hopefully be one day not have chronic kidney disease as it is, and not as chronically. So thank you both.
And thank you, Laura.
Thank you. It was great.
Means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Vega and Thelma, thank you both. We'll see you next time on The Way Home.
Thank you all for listening to The Way Home this week, and to my wonderful guests. And may you all have a wonderful week that is safe, that's happy, healthy, and full of lots of miracles as well. I'm Laura Smith. See you next time from The Way Home.
Podcasts by Federated Media.